So I have to explain something. Welcome back, by the way. The producer in my ear said before we went live, about 5 seconds, he went, I want you guys to go crazy. I have no idea what they're doing upstairs, but they're having fun in production. We're having fun down here as well. Apparently I did it well. Thank you very much, Mr. Producer. Todd, time for Open Bracket 2. In fact, let's put Open Bracket 2 up there so everyone can see it. We can see the players in Open Bracket 2. Hopefully you can see that. I can't, but that's fine. There we go, it's back up on my screen as well now. So, Hyun in action, Tefl, Violet, Leenock, Socke, Patience, Grubby. Some phenomenally good players again, but who for you stands out in this Open Bracket 2?
I talked about it a little bit before. The 3 Korean Zergs that we haven't seen much these days in tournament are going to be the big question mark going into this Open Bracket number 2 here. Socke, obviously, we haven't seen him much of him as well. He's not in WCS, but he's a Brotos. And he plays for XMG, so I'm gonna be...
Did you call him a Brotos?
He's a Brotos.
He's a Brotos.
He's a Brotos.
And I know that you know, that he knows that you know, that I don't know, that actually, still with me, he's been boot camping quite heavily.
Yeah.
And kicking your ass. Is that right?
Did he tell you something like this? Oh, okay, so he must be playing against me on a barcode or something, because
okay,
I don't know anything of the sorts.
But he's been hardcoring with Hasselhoffs as well, and we've already seen Hasselhoffs playing really well. Do you think that translates for Socke as well?
I think there is a good chance. The thing is, he's up against Leenock, some guy who every time he went to a tournament, you could already say he's going to be top 2, top 3, he's going to win it. So it's going to be difficult. As much as we haven't seen as much of Leenock as we used to, I do think that he's still a very scary player.
Yeah, and I wouldn't disagree with that. But my point was going to be, it's been a while. I mean, a bit like MC, although MC hasn't been out of the spotlight quite so much as Leenock has. But, you remember back 2-3 years ago, and Leenock was, like you said, he turned up and you think, well, he's got to be one of the favourites. Now I don't get that same kind of feeling, but that's more because we just haven't seen him very often.
Yeah, and remember, it was the same thing for MMA. When MMA came to play WCS Europe, he was that player who wasn't performing anymore. Now, he's won WCS Europe once, and he's again that MMA that everybody fears. So the same thing could happen with Leenock here, but remember, Socke is the guy who at MLG was able to beat Donregu with some nice builds. He's the guy that will always prepare well for his opponents, and that's going to make it very interesting. And then besides all those Zergs, which I'm sure, by the way, Rhett is going to do a great job commentating.
He's going to love that.
We have Patience versus Grubby, which, again, both of those players are very good in PvP, in my opinion, and they both can go far in the brackets. So it's going to be super interesting. Okay. I cannot wait.
8 players, 2 spots. Pick the 2.
I almost say 2 Protoss, but I'm not going to make that joke of a bad taste. Instead, I'm going to say 2 Zergs, or 1 Zerg and 1 Toss. But, okay, you want names? You want names?
No love for the Terrans either. Yeah, names. I'm taking names.
I would say Hyun, and then either Patience or Violet or Leenock. They're listening. I cannot say bad things. Like, they'll be like, hey, Todd, why you said I'm not going to advance?
Todd, lean in. No one's watching right now. Just tell me.
Okay. Hyun and Violet.
Hyun and Violet. Shh, don't tell anyone. Okay, thank you very much, Todd. Fun as always. We'll find out whether his predictions of Hyun and Violet are correct as we make our way through a double elimination bracket of bracket number 2. If you weren't with us early, you've missed out because there were some fantastic PvP matches. Hasselhoffs putting up a really good fight early on. We'll now try and find out whether his fellow German will do the same thing against an absolute legend of StarCraft. It's time for Leenock versus Socke. Time to go over to our commentary team, Apollo and Rhett.
Thank you very much, Red Eye, and welcome to the second half of the day here. We are here to cover the second open bracket. How are you doing? And welcome back once again to the casting desk.
Thank you very much. I am super excited. I mean, the first bracket was pretty cool, but
there was something about the top bracket. It just, I couldn't quite put my finger on it.
Too many stalkers and sentries and blinking and immortals
and one basing and But now in the lower bracket, there's a lot of Zerg, and this is where you're going to shine.
This is more my thing, definitely. This is what I've been waiting for most of the day, and I mean, what a game to start off with. It's Leenock. I don't even know how many championships this guy has won, but it must be quite a lot. 4 of them.
Yeah, 4 major ones.
Yeah, so
2 MLGs, an IPL, and a DreamHack.
Yeah, that's pretty insane. That's pretty insane. And he's got something to prove too, because he's kind of been struggling against Protoss.
Yeah, he has. And he really has had, I mean, considering his whole career, he's got those 4 big titles. But in the last year, what has he really done? The last big result was that first place at DreamHack Stockholm against Naniwa earlier last year. But he only competed in the round of 32 in WCS in Korea, in the GSL. Never made it past the round of 32. Most recently was knocked out of the GSL. So he has been having a hard time recently. And he definitely now, especially being on a new team, the Flash Wolves, definitely has a lot to prove, as you say.
Yeah, and on the other hand, we have Socke, one of the German legends of StarCraft. And as pointed out earlier, he's been boot camping with Haswap. So I feel whenever those two work together and they speak a lot about the game, they have great synergy. And they really help improve each other. So Haswap's already shown that he's playing at the top of his game. He unfortunately lost to Sun, but it was really close. And he did beat him 3-2 overall.
Yeah.
So I spoke to Socke a little bit earlier. And he actually felt pretty good about his PvZ. And we'll have to see how he stacks up against Leenock. And I'm also really interested to see if Leenock, how he's going to play. Like, is he going to go for like defensive swarm host, or play more aggressive? Use a Ling based style, or Roach Hydra timings. Like, you could really go either way with Leenock.
Only just a week ago, when Leenock played in his GSL group against some of the best in the world, let's just cut to the chase here. Zest and Trap, 2 amazing Protoss players. He lost to both of them, but he did play a very outdated style, and he didn't look in form. His creep spread was lacking, his builds were slow, his strategy seemed weak, and he just didn't really have a good day. But this is a new day, this is a new continent. Maybe he can bring something different here. But have you had, maybe you don't know because of barcodes, but have you had any opportunities to run into Socke recently?
I think Socke plays exclusively on a barcode, so not really. But actually, about 3 months ago, I played about 15 games with him. And back then, he was really switching it up. Like, he actually, it was the qualifier for a tournament, and we were doing it at an offline barcraft.
Yeah.
And before every game, he pulled out a note that had a written build order.
Really?
And it was like each map had a different build order written down on a note, and he would just follow it to a T. So it could either be like a heavy 2-base all-in, or just like a straight-up macro game. He had a lot of different things he threw to the table, and it was hard to deal with for me. But of course, Leenock is a different animal altogether.
Yeah, Leenock is a different animal. That's one thing to say. But looking at Socke's last year as well, when we compare to Leenock to Socke, they do have similar years, and in terms of they really haven't achieved that much. Socke, especially because in Europe right now, the main focus is all about the big events that happen consistently in Europe, which is DreamHack, and more importantly, the World Championship Series. And Socke wasn't present in the WCS at all last year. He played in the very first season, which he was invited into, lost, fell to Challenger, lost, and never ever requalified. Not even to 2014. He hasn't managed to get back into Challenger. So for a lot of people that are watching this tournament now, especially because everyone watches WCS all the time, when was the last time we really saw Socke?
Yeah,
and we just don't know what to expect today.
It's a really good point. I mean, Socke has been not performing like we are used to seeing from him. But from speaking to him on a personal level, he has not lost motivation for the game. He sounds the same as ever. He's practicing a lot. So I think it's just a matter of time before we see the old Socke back in top form.
All right, well, let's hope so, because we're about to begin the first game of the second open bracket. We've already found 2 players to make it into the group stage play. That is, of course, Stardust and MC. But now it is time to find out the other 2. There's 3 top Korean Zergs that are looking for the top 2 slots, like we had top 3 Protoss players looking in the open bracket number 1. But Socke is standing in his way. He's playing on his own ground. He's in Germany. He's in his own comfort area. Leenock travelled in yesterday, but that's all out the window now as we are finally into game number 1. Is down here playing for his new team, Flash Wolves. It's Leenock. Yo, Flash Wolves.
The Flash Wolves.
The Flash Wolves. The Yo Flash Wolves.
They all want to be like Flash, huh?
Yeah.
Probably in StarCraft Root right now.
Yeah, Flash Brutals, but definitely better than StarCraft 2 Flash. And then up here, playing for XMG, another guy that's representing a new brand, a new team recently. It's, of course, Socke.
And I think this is a cool map to start off on, actually.
Yeah, talk us
rain.
through it. Talk us through it.
It's probably one of the best maps in the map pool for just straight up swarm host play, because all the 5th and 6th base are like in the middle of the map. So the Locust can push further and further towards the 5th and 6th base, whereas on other maps, the 5th and 6th base are further away, so the Locusts become less efficient the longer the game goes. So a lot of the games on this map are decided by just the Protoss being able to outmaneuver the Swarm host or not, and then running out of money.
Well, the one thing that that Leenock win his games last week, even though he did lose both games against Zest and Trap, the one strategy he didn't use was actually Swarm Host. He used everything else apart from that. So there's only been a week difference, and he would have practiced very hard for that creep. So I can't really see him changing too much within a week, including travel time. So we do see a lot of Swarm Host play, but I wonder if he'll use that today.
I was speaking to him before the game. He actually said that Swarm Host play is too boring because you can't attack. Like you win if you defend, but it looks actually like Socke is using the same build that Hasuops used in game 1 against TLO. A very, very greedy Nexus first into Gateway, and this is a very strong opener. Like Leenock also went 15 hatch, so his economy is going to be fine. But he did also go for the quick gas. So right now Socke probably the best opening for him.
This is a really good opening for him here, but Leenock's not too far behind when it comes to his opening. It's pretty good himself, going hatchery first into the Vespene Geyser to be able to get that gas income ready for Zergling speed, and then of course the spawning pool straight behind it. So a pretty decent start here for him. But I mean, what do you think that is there anything you're expecting from Socke throughout this? Aggressive play, passive play, long game oriented?
Him using this build makes me think that he's going to play the same way Hasuops did.
Especially with
because
they've
been boot camping together, and this is the total same opening. So I'm expecting a Stargate Phoenix greedy opening into a fast third base, into Colossus. And we'll have to see, like Leenock scouted the Nexus, he scouted that the core was late, and he did take, he took off gas, but he still mined 100 gas, so his speedlings are going to be very quick, like way quicker than he actually needs. And from here on, we'll have to see what Leenock is going to do against this.
All right, well, there's obviously a comfortable opening here for Leenock, not having to worry again for too early aggression here. As with Zergling speed out, he's going to be able to control the game quite well, but he's going to have to scout and realize the follow-up in immediately here for the best responses possible. Mothership core being chrono boosted out very early here on the natural.
Yeah, just one Zealot being made, nothing else being made, probably saving up gas for a very, very, very fast Sentry, actually. So
Sentry first. Not straight to the Stargate here.
Yeah, Socke scouted the gas. He's probably a little bit more worried than Hasuops had to be.
Alright, well, there's a gateway there. Gonna complete that wall off. Second gate, I'd imagine. He could actually go 2 gate and then Stargate next, depending on how his gas lines up here. It actually looks like he could squeeze in the Stargate next. So that would be 2 gateways into Stargate if he chooses. No, it's actually a Forge, so it's not quite the same.
I think it looks like he's a little bit scared, like... With the Speedling opening, if he mines a lot more gas, he could do a Baneling bust or some kind of Roach Ling attack. So Socke playing it safe here and actually getting that Sentry and getting that Forge. But I think he's still probably going to add Stargate.
Well, the Mothership core is going to get some further information for Socke here. It's halfway across the map. One thing that he's noticed is there's no Zerglings just rushing at him right now with this Mothership core. He's going to be able to swing around, by the looks of it, to the natural here. Or maybe checking the third base. I actually noticed that a lot of Zerg players on the European server, and even Korea, are taking the third base on this right-hand side rather than flat out in the middle recently. But he is going to be able to come across.
He's actually getting +1 weapons and... a third gateway, so at this point it's third and fourth gas. I find this really hard to predict. I'm not sure what he's going to do. He could go. He's getting a lot of sentries though, so it looks like he might want to put on some early game pressure.
So I mean, you're a professional player yourself, a professional Zerg player, and you're trying to predict what's exactly going on. But let's look through Leenock's vision. He's really scouted nothing. I mean, what's going through his mind? He's throwing the layer down. He's got the Roach one on the way. He's still droning. What is he meant to be worried about at this point? If you can't figure out what Socke is doing when you can see everything, what's Leenock thinking?
Well, he saw the Forge, and he's seen the +1, and he's also seen the third gas. He probably seen the sentries, so he pretty much has been droning. He's got no units at all. He made 2 Zerglings. Other than that, it's been pure drones. So he hasn't been worried about anything, which he definitely made the right call. And this sets him up really well for the mid game. I mean, he's already up to 54 drones. All his bases are saturated on the minerals. He's only got 2 gas.
Yeah. I can't help but feel that he's expecting some form of aggression here. He doesn't really know what's going on. Like you said, he's only seen 3 gases. He hasn't seen inside the main base. There's actually a fast third coming in here for Socke. And Leenock just is kind of doing a bit of everything right now. He's got an Overseer morphing. He's going to send a Zergling up here and should now... Okay, so now he does identify what's going on. But he doesn't decide to keep building units here. He adds on 8 more drones. What do you think about this? Because he's currently sitting at 6 roaches, 14 lings.
He made those purely for safety and because he saw the +1, so he was expecting some kind of attack. Normally, if there is 5 sentries, you can expect the Protoss to at least poke at you with the Mothership Core and possibly recall if they go back. So I think those units were purely for safety. Now he's going to go up to 6 gases and a macro hatch. So from here, he could do anything. We'll have to see.
He's seen the Twilight Council, by the way, so he's probably you can expect +2 and Blink.
Yeah.
So you'd expect a Hydralisk den to come down.
I think the Hydras
right?
would be the Spire.
What do you think about the Spire, though?
That's a dangerous response, I feel, especially with all these gateways coming in. Like, mutas are really good against this if you get a lot of them and you can harass Protoss before they attack you. If you have to defend this attack with mutas, you can have a really hard time. But, ooh, this Roach Sling attack is pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, well, what's he going to get here? He's got a sentry so far. Photon Overcharge is activated on the 3rd base.
He's not going to get much.
I mean, there's another sentry.
That's not bad.
And he hasn't really lost too much here either. It looked a little bit...
And he's seen all the gates.
Well, 3 sentries in total for 7 Zerglings in a row. That's a good trade. It actually looked really scary at first there, with his units getting fully surrounded by the force field, but there wasn't really much else to support that. That's a nice little attack.
It looks like Socke is not going to take the gases on his 3rd base. He's just going to go heavily blink all in off this. Right now, more roaches are being sacrificed. I feel like this is a really dangerous position for Leenock. His Spire is just about to finish. He's got gas for about 10 mutas.
And there's a probe and pylon on the right as well.
Socke is going to attack in the next minute for sure. I'd be really surprised if he doesn't.
And the Warp Prism's on the way, but all the gas has been saved for the Spire. This is +2 Blink Stalkers. There's only 5 of them right now, but obviously there's going to be more. 12 Mutalisks.
Killing these pylons is really, really good. Socke is actually out of position, loses 2 Stalkers to the Zerglings. That's not good. Leenock knows what's going on by now. He's getting more links. He did make 12 mutas. He's going to try to delay all these pylons with these links as much as possible and then just buy enough time for him to
And he can take a head-on
attack.
fight soon, right? Well, he's going to have a lot of Zerglings here to support the Mulus as well. They kind of work together. A nice counterattack. This may buy him some more time. Well, he decides to come around from this.
And then meanwhile, Leenock has 4 hatcheries and 4 queens, and he's been injecting perfectly. So his macro, he's already at 200 supply with the Overlords. He can just make units non-stop, but he's going to need a lot of them. I think it's going to be really, really close. This Muta-Ling counterattack is going to really disturb Socke, but at the same time, Leenock needs a lot of units right now to defend this attack.
All right, this is really close right now. Who's going to edge out ahead of this? The counterattack's been activated. The cannon is destroyed immediately on the 3rd base, as well as the probe line here. And it looks like Leenock's just trying to evacuate with every single Mulus he can get out here while mining as much as possible. As you said, he can build as many units as long as he has the lava, which he has been hitting.
And
Socke is going to defend his natural, just his natural here.
I think Leenock gets into the natural, and I don't think Socke is going to be able to defend this. There's 12 mutas there, and more Zerglings are on the way. If Socke loses his control over his natural here, these 2 cannons are finishing. This is so close, but Socke has to control his natural to have a chance in this game.
3 cannons, 4 cannons alive. There's a lot of Mulus and Zerglings still here. Those 3 cannons dealing out a lot. And the recall activated from Socke. And he's going to go back to defend, but...
He's left so many units as well at the natural. I'm not sure I agree with this recall.
Well, he's got 5 Stalkers also trying to kill the Spire. They're not going to kill the Spire here. And now it's 106 supply at 86 and dropping. Blink there to try and run around to get the Spire.
I feel like this recall really cost Socke the game, because now Leenock has 2 base saturation. He has mutas.
Yeah.
As soon as Socke leaves his base again, those mutas are going to be horrible for him. So recalling means that the only option Socke has is either go all in right now, which he doesn't have enough, or he can try to establish like some kind of muta defense, but I don't feel like he has the time to do that. So from here on out, Leenock's mutas are just going to be a nightmare.
I mean, look at the stats there on the screen. The army supply is higher, the worker supply is higher. Leenock's got map control. He's dominating this game quite heavily. And Socke finds himself in a very difficult position. He doesn't really have much to defend. He's going to have to defend, and the Mulas can just keep flying around killing probes, which means Socke is going to give Leenock even more time to get back to the drone count that he was before this fight even happened. Already back up to 60 supply. And this game's starting to go out of Socke's control.
I want to know what would have happened right now if Socke wouldn't have recalled, because the time he recalled, they were similar supply.
Ooh,
Socke was defending his natural. He got the Spire, that's good. But even roaches are a fine choice here.
There is the Dark Shrine coming in, by the way. Maybe that's something here. Imagine if he was to be able to pick off...
There's Spore Crawlers at every base, though.
Oh, is there?
Yeah.
Okay, then never mind.
Like literally every base.
Yeah.
That's really good.
Okay, that's pretty good detection there. So 2 DTs are getting warped in for Socke, and Socke does not know about this. He sees the Spore on the natural, but he doesn't see about the 3rd base here.
That's 5 DTs though going down to that base, so they might actually kill that Spore Crawler. But
All right, well, we'll see how this is going to do. Socke needs something. As you can see by the supply count, 167, 770 supply.
Yeah. And the mutas are dodging into the main base once again.
Yeah.
Leenock is running circles around Socke's bases.
And Socke is going to come into the third base with the spores there, but all the units are there too. The Dark Shrine's gone, so now he knows his roaches that actually just popped from that fifth base, or fourth base, should I say. There's already units on the third, so this is deflected without even realizing that he had deflected it, most likely. And this has gone downhill pretty fast from Socke, and I guess it was just decisions with that, you know, counterattack, the base trade and recall.
Yeah, I felt like he was holding his natural. He didn't need his main army, but it's hard to say. It's hard to say.
Well, the Mulis are just running over this game now, and unfortunately, Socke's found himself just, as you said, just being run circles around. He's going to go for one final attack, and this is the kind of last resort here. He's going to go for it. A couple of cannons to try and defend something. Being pulled back from these Mulis, but he picks off 2 or 3 Stalkers and then will fly away.
There's burrow movement.
There's a lot of units, man.
There's creep spread outside the third base.
This game seems over, unfortunately. Yep, this game is pretty much done here for Socke, and he started okay. It seemed like a decent setup, a decent build, but then this became a kind of crazy game.
Leenock was very annoying with his Zerglings initially, and Socke just lost a few pylons and lost a few seconds, a few very crucial seconds, and then the mutas actually came into his base, and you know, he recalled, and if you recall against mutas, it's just, you don't have a Stargate, you have Blink, but it's just not enough.
Yeah, and this is 4 base versus only 2, because Socke is not mining from that third whatsoever. It's just a big pylon right now, and well, I guess it's a big pylon cannon, I suppose, with the photon overcharge as well, but he doesn't even have a malicious core, so yes, it is just a big pylon. But here comes the overall fight. This is the closing fight from Leenock. There is Burrow, those slippery roaches. Fancy. Getting right underneath those force fields. And this is going to end Socke's game number 1 here. He cannot combat this army, and he cannot combat the 17 additional Mutilis that are in the production tab either. And game number 1 will go over to the Leenocktopus. I butchered his name there. The Leenocktopus. And this is a strong start for the Korean. GG. And the Redhead Zerg.
Convincing win in the end there. But I have to say, I felt like Socke was definitely in a good position. I don't know. How do you think that game would have gone if he hadn't recalled? It's hard to say without watching the replay.
Yeah, but I'm not too sure if it seemed like the natural was a bit of a sinking ship. Almost. It seemed like it was maybe about to go down, but with additional warp-ins, maybe.
If he holds the natural there and then kills the natural of Leenock and takes out the Spire, I feel like it's his game.
And those type of games can take back to the drawing board, resume from replay and take it back and play out a different scenario. But the one that we did see, Leenock came out ahead and is able to take the first map in this best of 3. And remember, this is the winner bracket. This is the first game of the open bracket, number 2. And it is very, very difficult. And have you been in a position in an open bracket or any tournament, a double elimination tournament, you've lost the first game and you're straight down to the losers? What kind of pressure does that put on you and could potentially put onto Socke if he was to lose this series?
It's definitely not what you want, but at the same time, I feel like Socke, looking at this bracket, he probably knows in the back of his head, like, it's entirely possible that I will lose to Leenock, you know, even if I play my best game, so he's probably mentally prepared for this.
As a pro player, I mean, a lot of times in the pre-game interviews, or if Socke was to speak to someone and someone says, you know, how are you feeling about going up against Leenock? And the standard answer is, yeah, I'm confident. But is there that doubt at the back of the mind that can creep in throughout the games? You
know, of course, like playing Leenock, it's like, it's just really hard. Like, you know what the guy has won, you know how good he is. You know, he's Korean, he's practicing Korea all the time. You're always going to feel kind of like the underdog playing against someone like Leenock. But at the same time, you know, often I feel like when players feel like the underdog, but then you look at the games, Socke had a real chance that game. Like, he could have won that game. He shouldn't be scared of Leenock. But I think probably Socke wouldn't be too upset if Leenock took him out.
And especially because they've been practicing in this team house, I'm quite sure, and this is something that they wouldn't have skipped over. They would not have skipped over his games in the GSL last week. This is something that he's just going to be like, oh, did he really play against those 2 Protoss players last week and I didn't watch them? Oh, no. This is actually something they would have watched together and spoke about it before coming into this. You know, the you help me, or you scratch my back, I'll scratch your back kind of scenario with him and Hazyobs, I suppose. Let's see what his training can help him coming into this next one. As you said, it was a good start for him. A good start. And Hazyobs' PVZ training paid off with his 2-0 against Tilo early on. See if Socke can do it as well, or at least try the comeback.
Socke definitely went for a different approach than Hazyobs there. So I'm not sure how much we can predict his future moves. He seems to have a different...
The next map is Yonsu, though. And this is a map that gets vetoed out so often by Zerg players. I'm sure you can vouch for that here against Protoss.
I feel like it's a really, really, really good 2-base map for Protoss. Like, especially the choke next to the ramp at the natural. Like, a lot of Protoss players will attack at the 3rd base. But I feel like attacking at the natural with that choke, it's really, really good for force fields. But then again, if it's not a 2-base all-in, then swarm hosts are absolutely amazing on this map. It's such a short distance, so the swarm hosts can be bird really far away and still reach a huge amount of the Protoss base. So I'm kind of expecting Socke to want to end this one rather early. Yeah. Unless he wants to deal with the swarm hosts.
And if you're thinking that, then this guy on screen must be thinking something along the same lines, knowing the map, knowing that he's in the lead, and maybe a cheap win could be an option here for Socke. Well, he's going to have to play this out carefully. I guess one good thing on Yonsu, it's nice for the Zerg player to be able to get a lot of information, overlords in right position, Zerglings at the front, and hopefully be able to read well into Socke, as we are now ready for map number 2 between these two players. Who is going to be the first player to win a series here in the open bracket number 2 at the Intel Extreme Masters Cologne, the last stop before the World Championship in just 4 weeks' time. And 2 players overall from this tournament, even though this is day 1, come day 4, we'll have 2 players going. An additional, maybe, 2 players, depending on how MC does, going to the World Championship. Let's get ready for this next map.
It's really amazing to see how he uses his thumb to press like all the button keys there. It's like
he's a thumb nerd.
Something I've noticed. All the Koreans using their thumb for like X, C, V.
All right, down here in the bottom left is the red Zerg player playing for Yo Flash Wolves. It is, of course, Leenock, the Leenock-the-Bus. And looking for domination in Germany. You can tell he looks like a commander ready to take control of this tournament with that mic ready to go. And then up here is, of course, the German player for XMG. It's Socke. And the whole... Well, I'm not sure, actually. I was going to say the whole set of players by name. I'm not too sure who they all are, but at least Hazyobs is there standing behind him, cheering him on.
Always supporting him.
Supporting him on. Friends for life. Friends for life.
Leenock actually opting for the 15 pool this game, so a bit more of a safe approach. I wouldn't be surprised to see him go for something that's been popular recently, which is like opening 15 pool and then getting 4 queens and getting your gas really late. And then going into roaches and then swarm hosts.
Hey, look, that guy's right into us, Rhett. Thank you, outright.
That is awesome.
No, thank you. If you want to do tweets and maybe get your chance to appear on the show, you can, just like _outrider did. So make sure to send in your tweets and include a hashtag IEM. You might come on the show in your own special little way.
I'm sure you
6 links straight away here, Rhett.
Ooh, that is
6 links
interesting.
straight away.
I guess he's there's a zealot being made.
8 links.
If this zealot gets cancelled, which it likely will be, this might be a problem.
All right. Is it going to be cancelled?
It's going to be cancelled.
No, don't no.
Yep.
8 links.
That always happens.
So as a Zerg player yourself, and if you knew that the zealot was cancelled, what are you thinking?
Well, the Mothership Core will kill them eventually, but it's all about just how annoying it's going to be. If it cancels the Nexus, then that's already a huge, huge win for Leenock here.
Well, he's going to go for it here. The Mothership Core obviously is a little bit slow. It's trying to get over there. It's got a little DPS as well, so the Lings can be microed around as well. He doesn't want to lose this.
So this is really, really metagame by Leenock. Like, he knows the standard opening.
The Mothership Core's chasing the Ling. It's going to get cancelled. Yeah. And a disastrous start here for Socke.
Yeah, now he's going to have to wait for the Stalker pretty much to remake that. I'm sure Leenock will come back. Come back, Leenock.
Well, he's satisfied with 1 win.
Maybe
he's not going to chase. Yeah. He's not the guy that goes to Vegas and goes double or quits. He was happy with what he won and he just left. That's a good start for Leenock.
Yeah, and he hasn't taken his gases, and he's getting a third queen. So based on this, I'm kind of expecting a very standard Roach opening into Swarmos play, really playing to the strengths of the map, going for that Swarmos composition here.
Is he not in any danger? I mean, if you look at all the Zerg vs Protoss games and playing yourself, you see Gateway expand, you take a gas, you get speed, but that's something he hasn't got here. Is that not actually a detriment to his game at all?
You're scared of the Zealots, but honestly, the speed finishes so late that if it's like a 3-gate very fast Zealot, you're fine with Queens and slow links. And actually taking the huge drone count might actually be better. Like recently, Zerg players have changed. He doesn't get
he
it.
gets in, and he's going to see the Robo as well, which is on the high ground. So not only does he waste that force field, his information, his whole strategy's just been... I mean, his heads up now.
At least he doesn't lose a probe here.
But
seeing the Robo is a huge deal. I mean, he knows what's up now. Like, it's not like Socke is going to change his plan and like make an observer and go for a macro game. It's like, I'm being all in, and Leenock knows.
Yeah, Leenock knows. So let's see how well Leenock can prepare for this. He knows what's coming very early on. He's got an observer towards the robotics facility, which is dipping in, I think, right now, and he's just having a quick look. And if he's got this right, he may even see the Immortal pop out. Well, it was on the other side, unfortunately, but he sees it's still active. He knows what's coming, and from this point, what do? You're the Zerg player. You are Leenock. You've seen the robotics facility. You've cancelled the Nexus earlier on. You know that this is coming. What do? You
need to check the gases on the natural. If the gases are not being taken, you know it's going to be mass Zealots. In which case, I think Banelings here is the best response because there's not going to be a lot of sentries. And it's going to be, like I said, a lot of Zealots. But at this point, Leenock might be so far ahead that he doesn't really need the Banelings. He might just be able to get Roach Ling and Roach Speed and be fine. And it looks like that's what he's opting for.
Well, here
Socke
comes
already moving
Socke,
out,
yeah, with just 2 Immortals, he's just going really, really fast, knowing it's been spotted. I guess there's still a small chance here that this works for Socke, but look at the supply difference starting to really fall away from Socke. Is 72 to 58, lots of Roach and Ling being made. The drone count hasn't even gone over 50. And there's the pylon. At least there's no creep spread here.
Yeah, there's no creep spread, and there's no Roach speed, and there's no Link speed. So this is still really, really dangerous, actually.
And can he kill the third and then get out and be happy with this? Is that a good move for Protoss, or should he go for the full kill?
Leenock doesn't have a lot of units here.
He's got a lot of Lings actually on the natural. He's got like 10 Lings waiting on the natural here. And Socke is powering through. He's broken the third.
Yeah, it looks like Leenock is going to give up the third base.
And is this Socke should be powering through with this? You identified earlier on that the ramp area here is obviously very, very good for sentries and force fields. And here comes an attack. There are drones with this. The force fields are pretty good.
Yeah. This looks rough for Leenock. I mean, there's those 2. What does Leenock have that can kill those 2 Immortals?
Well, not a lot right now.
Not that much
These
right now.
units aren't dealing out enough damage. Plus 1 attack is 30 seconds away. Speed's about to come in here for Leenock, so maybe he's got his Queens with his army, but he also still has 2 Queens Lava injecting at home, so he's trying to pump out units.
Yeah, but
these
this is
Immortals,
not good at all. He lost a lot of Roach Link here, and now the supplies are pretty much equal. The third base is gone, and Socke is about to move into this position, into the natural, where his...
GG. Yeah. So, how did that not go in Leenock's favor? He started well, he scanned what was coming, yet Socke was still able to pull it off. How did that not work?
You know, his build was not the best against Immortal. And late gases, late lair, late link speed. He had about 10 drones mining the third base, which was a lot, considering how low economy Socke was. I think Socke was either 1 gas, maybe 2 gas in his main. But not full saturation on his natural, so I think Socke was way more all-in than Leenock realized.
And if let's pull the if he played that again card. If Leenock played that again from the same scout, do you think that he could have held that in a different game, or was it just that maybe not be possible?
I think if Leenock plays that game again, he wins.
Right. Well, there is Hazuobs and Socke having a little conversation together. And, well, he's saying, well, you lost
really
your Nexus, by the way, but congratulations on that. Seems to be a trend, that losing the Nexus and the winning of the game. I think that's something you may have talked about a long time in the past, Rhett.
Well, I was talking about the third base
I
Nexus.
know, but this one was the second one. It still counts. Lose a Nexus, win the game. Even though this one was
it's
rebuilt.
a trend, yeah. Like, you damage the Protoss and put them all in, but then you realize that their all-in is their best bet, so you're actually shooting yourself in the foot. That's what happens. So you want them to feel really good, so they feel like, yeah, I can go into a macro game, and then Protoss actually sucks in macro games, so you're all good. But then, yeah, if they all in, it's harder.
Socke has requested a 2-3 minute break here, Rhett. And he wants to, obviously, as you can see on screen...
He's going to pull out some notes, I'm pretty sure. But they might be behind the monitor.
We may not see them. He's looking down at something. And Hazovs is giving him clear directions on how to win this next game. He said, "Did you see me versus TLO?" Socke's like, "No." And Hazovs is trying to help him out here. By the way, does not the Mouse Sports jackets look like... You've seen all these American... Yes, yes,
baseball,
yes.
very much.
American, is it jockey? I think is it jockey the right word? Like a baseball, football kind of guy. The kind of the jackets.
A jock.
Is that baseball?
I think it's called a jock.
Football?
It's like a very
jockey jock.
A sporty guy.
A sporty guy. But it looks very Americanized.
I think so too.
And it looks like he is definitely here to pitch a ball or whatever they say over there.
Pitch some ideas to Socke and make him win this one.
Hopefully can give him some words of advice here to move on. As I'm not too sure if we've got any other results coming in at the moment. I know that Violet, he's actually staying at my place right now. Well, not right now because he's obviously at the tournament, but he's playing against Teffel. Patience took game number 1 against Grubby, by the way, and Hyun took game number 1 against Terentius as well. But no Teffel Violet update yet. Almost as expected, some may say. But now this game is tied 1 apiece. So we're going into the third map between these two players. It is going to be Habitation Station. So walk us through this map.
I feel like this is also going to be either a quick all-in map, and if not, it's a super nice Swarmos map. Because all the bases are... The map is also kind of short, and then the gold base is super close to the middle. So if the Zerg can get the gold base and get the Swarmos up, then it puts a lot of pressure on the Protoss.
Right.
I feel like knowing Socke, he should play an all-in on this map, although I'm not sure. I mean, he played an all-in the last game.
I love Leenock with that mic on, by the way. It's just so... Yeah, please.
He's a helicopter pilot.
He could be a pilot right now.
Isn't everyone using the same headsets to cancel?
I don't know how he has a microphone on. I don't know how. Please, admin, I would love a microphone. But looks like Socke's ready. So both players are ready now. We can actually load into this third map now, Rhett. Yo Flash Wolves versus XMG. And here we are in the third map to determine who moves on to the next round in the winner bracket, who falls down to the loser bracket very early on here. And up to the top left, it is, of course, playing for Yo Flash Wolves. It is the Leenock, who has 4 major StarCraft 2 titles to his name, even a GSL final, but unfortunately not able to win it against Jack G, if I remember correctly, way back when. And
6 series, though.
That was a great series,
it went all the way, I think. And
then up here, playing for XMG most recently, it is, of course, the veteran. Been around for a very long time. It is Socke. And he's almost as old school as you are when it comes to...
Yeah, he is. He's actually a little bit younger than me, but he was better in Brood War before I was. So he was good in like 2002.
Right? You've got 12 years under your belt, including Brood War, and he must be something similar, or if not
13,
more?
maybe 14. But he took a really long break somewhere in between.
13, 14 years since he started playing competitively.
Yeah,
that is a long time.
It really is. And I think he's 27 now, and he was already really good when he was like 15, 16. So it's
that's so long. It's so long. And thank you, of course, to Funker, our game observer, the little Frenchman who's going to have to shave his head this event, I think, through losing a silly bet with Carmack, so I'm told. Yep, you're welcome, Funker. Good job as always. I know you love your Terran, but you're going to have to wait until group play. Because there ain't none in the open bracket, son.
Literally no Terrans at all. So
There was
strange.
just the one with Revenge, but he got knocked out straight away. All right, so we have the same, well, not the same, sorry, well, similar openings with Leenock Hatchery, but then double hatchery instead of spawning pool. And then we have just the regular gateway opening here. So very similar to the Hazuobs and TLO.
Three hatch before pool, no?
Yeah, Leenock gets a nice little build here. And Socke is checking the goal base, by the way, with his probe.
He should really scout a little bit more.
He hasn't seen anything. He saw, well, he hasn't seen the third, sorry, should I say. Hasn't seen that. But the Overlord from Leenock has now popped in, seeing the 1 gas, and obviously, well, actually, is he going to cancel the Zealot? Well, he should be, right? No, he shouldn't. No, she should. Because he saw the hat-trick first, okay. Yeah, my bad. Oh my god! He's taking the gold base!
Wow. This is a nice counter. Actually, a lot of Protoss
But he
players
doesn't even know it's 3 hatchery.
have been getting the gold base immediately on this map and then going Immortal in, and it's really good. You get a lot of Zealots.
And this is the special build that him and Hazwobs were talking about.
Yeah.
Take the gold base. Socke, take the gold base. And he has. You think it's the Immortal and follow-up?
I think whenever I've seen this, it's mostly the Immortal Zealot, Mass Zealot, because the gold gives you so much minerals that you can get so many Zealots.
He's on double gas, though, inside the main base. That's a lot of gas income for a Zealot heavy, right?
Gas.
All right, well, we'll keep track of this and see where he's going to go with it. But interesting opening here. I haven't really seen this at all myself, but we do have, of course, as mentioned, the 3 hatchery, then over to the Swarming Pool, and then a Extractor here for Leenock. And he has spotted this very early on. But what is he going to do? He's researching speed. He's still got 3 in gas at the moment inside his main base. There is the robotics facility. Good call.
Yeah. This is going to be a quick game.
Yeah, one way or the other. And is it going to be the German player or the Korean who edges out to move on to the next round here in the open bracket for the Intel Masters?
I'm quite certain Leenock also has something planned, otherwise he wouldn't be mining gas still from his main base.
Well, what is that? Is that for a Roach Warren to come down quite soon to make sure he is protected? He's going to poke up here and he spots the robotics facility. He clicks on it and knows he's even potentially going to get a probe kill here. And now he's obviously going to feel threatened because he just lost to the same tech tree, tech structure in the previous game. And what is he going to do?
So far, 130 gas, no tech.
Yeah,
a Roach Warren.
In the layer.
And I think the correct response here is Roach Baneling, but of course, Leenock is getting the lair, so it looks like he wants to have a similar response as last game, maybe just pure Roach Ling.
Well, 2 Lings on the gold are going to poke in.
That's very
here.
dangerous.
And he's trying to attack these probes. Oh, squeezes 1 kill there. But also sees the robotics facility being worked on. He's probably not... Well, he might swing around here.
He might see that Immortal.
Okay,
no,
but
he knows.
He can assume. He can assume that's there.
I'm sure he knows.
So at this point, it's
gas,
almost
actually.
the same as last game here. But 2 gases being taken.
That's very surprising.
Well, the drone count right now is low. It's at 48. It's actually 1 less than the last game. It was 49 to be exact last time. It's 48 here. And
Leenock's getting 6 roaches and 10 links, which is really, really early. So he might be really, really scared of that really, really early attack. So the fact that Socke took 4 gas and is now going to be able to get a lot of sentries is going to work out really nicely for him.
All right, well, let's find out. Leenock couldn't stop it in the last game. And here comes the additional gateways to really power this build up. Socke a little bit... oh, no, actually, he's not supply box. I thought he was for a second. I'm not sure if my eyes deceive me.
Look at how many gates are being added.
Or a pylon there. Was constructed. Yeah, 3rd Immortal this time as well. It was 2 last time. And now Leenock has to pull out something here. He needs to make the defense. He's got a large supply count. 92 to 59. He's got a couple of Overlords, which are going to allow him to increase that army even more. And he's even got a couple of units ready to counterattack here.
Yeah, this counterattack move is very, very smart. As soon as Socke moves out and Leenock gets into the main, this is going to be... Socke's going to have to make some hard decisions. Like, what do I do? Do I recall? Probably not.
Thinking about game number 1 immediately springs to mind.
Yeah.
All right, well, here we are going to go, Rhett. The force fields are ready. The Immortals are ready. He's going to enter creep. There is a Spore Crawler versus the Mothership Core and potential Warp Prism. And now Leenock's going to launch the counterattack. It's on the natural. He's going to go straight for the pylon here. And what does Socke do? He's still pushing forwards. He's going to run for... Oh, he's trying to run for the natural on the other side there.
Oh, no.
He tried to run for the natural and try to force field himself in, but it was not allowed. Leenock caught it. And now the recall's been activated.
Yeah, Socke has to recall, and
this gives Leenock so much time.
Socke's got 700 minerals. His money timing for that attack did not really work out, and now Leenock's gonna run into the gold base. This is a tough position for Socke right now.
Oh, he squeezes around with those links to wrap around the Zealots. Beautiful there by Leenock. And Socke is finding himself in a very difficult spot. He's given so much freedom here to Leenock. He was knocking on the front door and he had to recall all the way back to his main base, which gives wave after wave after wave of additional units that Leenock can use. Looks like the robotics facility is going to go down.
Immortals, though.
Yeah, that's a lot still. And he catches a lot of these units. And he kills the robotics facility for all of those almost. Okay, a sentry or 2 sentries, and then maybe a 3rd as well.
Socke's going to have another go after this.
Oh, counter-attack into the main again. Leenock's everywhere.
Recall. Takes out 1 Immortal with this. There's only 3 left.
But he's wearing Socke down. 3 Immortals left, and the robotics facility's gone. And of course, the Immortals are the power punch of this. But Leenock, you must be feeling confident in his shoes if you were to be him right now.
You are confident, but at the same time, Socke does have a big army, and the supply difference is not that big. There's 3 Immortals. Normally when the Zerg is massing roaches, the supply difference is supposed to be a little bit bigger. But the problem is for Socke that roach speed is done, so when he can't really leave his base. Like whenever Socke leaves his base, Leenock is just gonna swing around and counter. So Socke is in this really tough position where I feel like he almost should just like try to take his natural,
nice.
Because he can't really attack anymore.
Yeah. Well, we'll find out what Socke is gonna do. Is he has a couple of answers to give here as force fields are being forced out here. Leenock's climbing up in supply again, 140. We have Burrow on the way, and also Roach, tunneling claws, Roach movement, underground, whatever we're going to call it. And Socke is just kind of in the middle of the map and kind of waiting to see what Leenock's going to do, as Leenock goes one way with his Roaches and then the other, and he's trying to break the 3rd base, or the gold base, should I say. He's going to swing around with Lynx from behind here, but forces a couple of more force fields, keeping that energy, energy low on the sentries. Almost said synergy there, because the sentry's an energy.
Yeah.
But this is, I mean, there's a lot of spine crawls down as well, right?
Yeah.
This is going to be almost impossible to break.
Station pit, 4 hatcheries, a lot of mineral income.
Well, Socke has defended these 2 bases for now, and he's got sentries behind the wall, so he can kind of hold on. So this is his opportunity, but, you know, yeah, but is it really going to work?
And Leenock's going to come in from 2 sides here.
Yes.
And it's only 4 sentries. It's not that many force fields as he would have liked. And here we go. Leenock comes in from both sides.
And the Immortals
getting targeted from the back immediately. This is definitely not what Socke wanted.
And 2 Immortals down, and the 3rd one's going to get picked off.
Die.
And that's just gateway units, and that's going to be game here. That's the real damage output from the army's gone, and now he just moves in, and he's going to clean this up. And unfortunately, Socke is not going to be able to beat Leenock in this series. Leenock will move on to the next round, dancing his units there.
Yeah.
And this is a nice pickup for Leenock, going 2 games to 1. You actually called 2 games to 1, I think it was, before we went live.
Well, I knew about Socke's build order notes, so
you knew
if you got those notes, then
you can do anything.
You can definitely execute one of those builds and usually take a win. So, yeah.
All right.
Nice play by Leenock in that last game. He was everywhere.
You
read that. You read that very well.
And that means he moves on to the semi-finals of the 2nd open bracket. Goes over to say GG to his competitor. And that means Leenock will be going up against Patience. As you saw throughout that game, there was the info that came up. Patience 2-0 Grubby. An expected result, as Patience has been playing very well recently. He's very high up on the European Grandmaster scale. But a good performance that we saw there from Leenock.
Yeah. He definitely looks in pretty good shape.
Yeah, looks in good shape, and
Patience
going up.
It's going to be different than Socke.
Yeah.
You know, probably a stronger player, but Leenock definitely showed all the right moves there. Looked sharp.
Would you favor Leenock or Patience going into the next one?
I think it's going to be really, really close.
Yeah.
I can't really predict either one.
And the last that I knew, that I'm sure we may even get some updates actually from Kolaris or Todd momentarily. We'll have to find out how the other games have been going, as you've been with us in this game. Was it quite a dynamic series? Quite an aggressive one actually. No swarm hosts.
Yeah.
No swarm hosts on all 3 maps.
Not like them that much.
And the maps are quite swarm host friendly, but we were yet to see swarm hosts, and I'm sure there's one guy that's quite happy about not seeing swarm hosts, and of course that's Red Eye. So take it away.
Thank you very much, guys. Yes, indeed. So Leenock just about gets through that one after a tricky match against Socke. With Todd, you've been checking out Grubby versus Patience. Talk us through the games.
Game 1 on Alterzim, Grubby was very unfortunate, as in he got the wrong end of PvP. This time he scouted not the right way with his hallucination, and he was able to see a little bit. He thought he was up against Blinkstalkers, but it was a hidden Dark Shrine. We all know how that goes. Dark Templars got into his base and he lost right there. And then second game, though, was really, really close on Habitation Station. Grubby went for some aggression. Patience defended, and then Grubby was a little bit behind, but he brought himself back into the game. As we've seen a lot of a lot of this in the recent PvPs, and it went into a big macro game. And actually, we can jump into the replay and
let's
actually
jump into that and show us exactly what happened between
check
Grubby.
out a little bit of what happened. So
this is map 2, Habitation
Yes.
Station, Grubby versus Patience
We
in
are-
the upper bracket.
yes, we're at the 28th minute, and 34 probes have been killed by Patience, 21 by Grubby. So that brings the total. Wait, what just happened? Oh my God, that just did not happen.
Todd.
Okay, let's jump out of the replay.
Todd.
It's a hotkey matter, man.
Todd.
Do we wait or
Todd,
what do we do?
Todd.
Come on, you're the host.
Funker right now is standing upstairs going, "Oh my God, what is he doing?"
I didn't even know it was possible to go all the way back with
I'm
the replay.
glad we hired you as a caster, because if we'd hired you as an observer right now,
I blame the hardware, man.
you blame the hardware.
Yes. If I had my own
How?
keyboard, this would not have happened.
Le Todd is le idiot.
Yes, we.
Okay, well, with that brilliant analysis from Todd and stunning replay action, it's time to go to a break. We'll be right back.